Hello. 你好。はじめまして、こんにちは。
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry. From this point onwards, it will be in Japanese. So I'm the director of Mixi Corporation, and I'm the producer of Monster Strike. I'm Kosuke Taru. And I'm happy to be able to give a talk in such a big event in Hong Kong, and I thank you all for this opportunity. And as displayed on the screen, I would like to talk about how Monster Strike became the biggest mobile game in the world. And I would like to tell you about some of the activities that surround Monster Strike. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. Well, it's all written up there. Basically, I have been working in the mobile apps industry for a long time. And for Monster Strike, I have been involved in the planning since 2014, and then became the producer for everything related to Monster Strike, and I manage everything for the game. So for today, there would be 5 topics to this talk. First of all, it is about Mixi Group, which is the group that produces Monster Strike. Mixi's group formed a new structure in April this year. So now it is divided into 5 main areas. So for mainly we are expanding in the communication side. And we have already done a press release about that. So for today, I'm going to concentrate on how Mixi Group works on Monster Strike. So Monster Strike. So there aren't that many players here of Monster Strike. So I'll give you a brief explanation about the game. The game can be played by up to 4 people in real time together. And it uses the simple hold and release mechanic of mobile phones. This is the number of players of the game. So it was released in 2013. This year is the 6th year. It's released worldwide. It now has 45 million players worldwide. Now this number here. So because I have this opportunity today, so I would release one of these figures that usually we don't tell the public. This number. It's a big number, so you might wonder what it is. So it is 18,400,000,000. That is up until now the total number of multiplayer sessions. 18,400,000,000. That's how many. It's a very big number, so it might be hard to fit into your head. So it might be easier if I break it down to 10 million multiplayer games per day. So it is a very focused on multiplayer modes. And there goes another puzzling graph. 30%, 30%, 40%. So what are these numbers? You probably don't know, so let me tell you what they are. They represent the ratio of active players. How many years they have played the game. First of all, you see the red part. That is the percentage of players who have played the game for 3 years or more. The blue 30% would be players who started within a period of 1 year. And then there would be players who only just started. And the 40% would be 1 year or more, players who have played for 1 year or more. So those are the biggest portion. As for the red 30%, not all of them have played the game every day for 3 years. As some of you might understand, as players of mobile phone games, there are players who might drift away from the game for a bit, but somehow there's a spark or something, and then they go back to the game again. So out of this 30%, 43% of them are actually players who came back. So this year it's the 5th year of the game, and I'm glad that I am the representative of Monster Strike, and I'm glad that I can tell you about the situation of the game. And now we move on to the top game rankings worldwide for mobile app games. So although it's sort of like a self-promoting sort of graph, but you can see that while all the other games in the top 5 rankings change over the years, but we have been there for 3 years straight. And one of them, in 2016, we were the top game. So Monster Strike is a game that has been loved by its users for a long time. So why is that? I think there are a few reasons behind it. And I think one of them is how Mixi, the group that runs the game, operates the game. That's part of the reason. So, and now I would like to move on to how us, XFLAG, the team behind Monster Strike, work. With XFLAG, we have a mission, and we work according to that mission, which is right here on the screen. So we are dedicated to creating thrilling and extraordinary battlefield entertainment that unites friends and families. That's our mission. That's how that's what we target. So the important thing is friends and families. So it's not just you play with random people online, but you connect with your friends, your family, people you know, people you like, and you play with them. And it gets excited. It's exciting because you play with your people you know. So to let users enjoy the game more, so we try to add excitement to such connections with friends and families. And that's our mission. So it's a bit of a funny concept we have for this mission. BBQ, barbecues. So you see BBQ, barbecues, and if you see the word, you can probably imagine, have an image in your mind of how people gather in a lawn, have a barbecue. So when we make a game, we don't just make a game. We try to give people a barbecue-like environment. So people gather around the hot plate and then enjoy themselves over beer, over the good food, and then enjoy conversation with their friends and family. So that's the kind of environment, the value we provide to our users. So we don't just provide a game, we provide a whole environment. That's what we think when we create our create Monster Strike. And this is the time frame of Monster Strike. So, and we have more things planned for this year, 2018. So all the developments follow our concept and mission. So it's not just making the game, but every part of our operation we follow that mission, and that's the core strategy of our operation. And next slide tells you one important part of our strategy: vertical integration. So vertical integration, what would that mean? You might know those words, but putting them together might be a bit confusing to the audience. So let me explain. So in Japan, usually the way companies work with intellectual properties is like this on the screen. So with intellectual properties in Japan, so they have a committee in the middle, and then all the other products, the animation, the movies, the games, they are all worked on by independent specialists. So they might have. So the merit is that they can focus on what they do, but the problem is also that they focus on their own profitability, and maybe each specialist wants to do their own thing, and that might differ from everyone else. So as a whole, the intellectual property might not have a very close-knit connection as a whole. And in comparison, how XFLAG works with Monster Strike will appear on the right. How we develop our business is that while we have the game in the middle, but we try to get the content, the users of the game to ooze out to all the other areas. We try to focus what the game is on what the game is about, and then we try and get the energy built up from the game, the players, and move that energy into other areas. So the game creates passion from the users, and then we try and spread the passion all over the intellectual property. It's not just one separate element. It's the whole entire idea. So and it keeps growing. So and more people are involved in the IP, so it becomes harder. But we try to keep everything within our team, and we operate everything within the team, and we try to, instead of considering separate entities and their profits, we look at the whole picture, and we stick with our original mission while we work with all these different parts of the business, and we do it by vertical integration. So that's quite difficult to manage, actually, but we believe we have faith in our ability to keep doing it this way, and I don't think this is something other companies can mimic. So Monster Strike started as a game, but there's a movie of it. There are other events, there are merchandise, esports, animation. So we pay a lot of attention to the synergy between all of these elements. So we try to create it as one big space environment for our users, audience. So that's how we make it a very long-lived intellectual property, which is hard for your average mobile game. So that's how we do the vertical integration. And another element is our marketing activities. I'd like to talk a bit about that as well. So we do a lot of marketing, of course. And today I'd like to talk more about the user interaction we've done over the last year. So again, this is the 5th year, and there are lots of users of the game. And of course, our success depends on a lot of users who keep playing the game. But of course, with a lot of users, we need to manage the users using a lot of resources in that area. So we don't just manage the user interaction. We try and initiate interaction with users. So we try and give them a lot of interactive content. So in order to get them to be highly involved in the game, in the whole intellectual property. So we have a few different ones. So for example, we have one where you just log in and then you can get different freebies. And then or maybe you can log in and then try and guess the outcomes of certain parts of the game, and then you win prizes if you guess right. So basically, you encourage people to just log in, because simply by logging in, you get something. Or there are other interactive elements in the game when you play it. It's not just when you play, you don't just play the game. When you play the game, there are other real-life free stuff you can get outside of the game. You can get takoyaki, snacks, Japanese snacks, gifts in real life. So you don't just play the game, so you can invite people to play the game and then they get actual gifts in real life. So we make it a topic of conversation with friends. So we've run this for a long time, so we know that what's important, which is to keep it a tool of communication with the friends. So even people who have played the game, who have drifted away from the game, or people who don't play the game, we have something for each kind of audience. So for example, you can get a takoyaki, a Japanese snack, from playing the game. So as mentioned earlier, there are a lot of returning players, and I believe they return because of our marketing activities. So we try very hard to make it fresh, make it interesting for our users. And last but not least, our future plans. I would like to talk about them. So as you've seen already, we've already developed into a lot of different areas with Monster Strike. So for the game itself, we would like to make some spin-off games from Monster Strike. So it's still based on the same intellectual property, but it's going to be a lot of different games. I think it would be finished and launched within this year. So it would be the first for Monster Strike. So we also have many events that we already operate. We'd like to do more of those. One important one is esports. So it's getting very popular in Japan. The Monster Strike's own esports event. So we put a lot of effort into that. And we even have our own professional teams for Monster Strike, and it's grown into a 60 million yen business. And we're going to hold Pro Tours, tournaments for Monster Strike, animation as well. So we have a new series, a new season that came out a few days ago in July. The third season, it just started a few days ago. So I can say with confidence that it's a very high quality animation. And we have a movie coming up as well. So that would be the second movie of Monster Strike. And not only that, but since we've built up a world view of Monster Strike, so we would like to expand that and develop it into more business areas. So we are expanding the economic scope of the intellectual property. So to finish off, I would like to summarize what I've talked about today so far. So it's a barbecue concept. So that's how we operate. Vertical integration. That's how we operate our business. So we don't just work on the game alone. It's not just a game alone. We provide a very all-rounded experience. That I believe is how we have such different results from your average mobile game. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.